Hey guys, in this video I'm going to walk you through my NeoVim configuration. This is a configuration that I came up with in the past a month or so because I moved full-time to NeoVim from VS Code, and this is the configuration that helped me stay on NeoVim and not go back to VS Code. So the NeoVim configuration is in this path, which is .config/nvim/init.vim, and this is what the config looks like. There's a bunch of things happening here. I'm going to walk you through each segment one by one. So the first thing you see here is the section which has all the plugins. So I use a plugin manager called Plug, which helps you install plugins this way. These are all basically Git repo names. So you just say plug and the Git repo name, and then it installs that plugin. So this is a pretty common plugin manager used for NeoVim. The first plugin you see here is VimGo, which is for syntax highlighting in Go and a bunch of other Go related functionality like formatting the file or running tests or running the file, etc. So I'll come to an example of VimGo later. I will move on to the next plugin now. So the second plugin is called Control P, which gives you the Control P functionality of VS Code. So if you open up a sample project and then hit Control P, it gives you a list of all the files that you can fuzzy search through and jump to, just like VS Code. Let's say I want to go to a file called scheduler.go. I just type sch and a chosen, and I can immediately jump to that file. This is exactly like how it works in VS Code. This is a very helpful plugin. The next plugin is NerdTree, which is basically something that every Vim user installs at some point. This gives you a project tree on the left side. So this lets you browse the project file by file like any other IDE or text editor. Okay, so the next plugin is called COC, which stands for Conqueror of Completion. This is a pretty famous plugin for auto completion. So you can go through the README file to know more about what COC does. It basically gives you autocomplete like they show in this GIF or GIF. So the other alternative for COC is uCompleteMe, which is also pretty famous. But I personally prefer COC because the setup was very easy for Go and Ruby and JavaScript, which I commonly use. The next plugin is Vim Waka Time. Waka Time is a platform that lets you track your productivity on a code editor. So it has plugins for VS Code, Vim, Atom, and everything. It monitors your activity on these editors and gives you metrics like how much time is spent on a particular project or a particular language, what percentage of your time went to which project, etc. Vim Surround by T-Pope is another very famous plugin which is used for surrounding words or things with things that are surroundable, like quotes, brackets, etc. For example, if I wanted to surround this word with double quotes, I can just do that very easily with Vim Surround. You can also do a bunch of other things like curly brackets, regular brackets, etc. The next plugin is AutoPair, which, like the name suggests, auto pairs things like brackets, quotes, etc. So if I do a double quote, it also closes it. Same thing works for single quotes, brackets, curly brackets, and everything that has a closing character. Vim Gutter is a Git related plugin which gives you a gutter functionality for Git status. So for example, if I add a new line, it shows you a plus mark on the gutter. Similarly, if I delete a line, it shows minus, and if I modify a line, it shows the tilde character. The next plugin is called T-Comment Vim, which is also very useful because it lets you comment blocks of lines without actually doing a lot of things. Commenting out code in Vim by default is actually pretty difficult, so you need a plugin like this to comment out multiple lines at the same time. The next plugin is called Ack.Vim, which lets you use the Ack CLI tool from within Vim. So you could say something like Ack and write a function name, for example, new scheduler. it gives you all the instances of new scheduler from across this project, and you could select one of them and jump to that reference immediately. The next plugin is called Vim Fugitive, which is also very popular for Git related functionality. You can do a lot of things that the Git CLI tool can by typing G or Git and then typing the command. It gives you the Git status. It also gives you the Git log. It even gives you Git blame, which is my personal favorite. It shows your buffer on the left side with the author, the commit ID, and the timestamp for every single line. The next plugin is called Groovebox, which is basically the color scheme that you're seeing right now. Then the next two plugins are for syntax highlighting in TypeScript and React-based TypeScript. So the next section you see here is all related to the basic look and feel of the editor. These are all basic Vim settings, nothing fancy here. Some things that I like here are color column 81, which is the line that you see here, which tells you that this is the end of 80 characters and you should stop writing, and you should make sure that you don't overflow this column. Then there are other bunch of things like relative numbering, and some Groovebox contrast configuration, etc. All of this can be found out in the Vim man page. So the next section you see here is the status line, and this is the status line you see. I'm not using any Airline or Powerline or any of those plugins. I'm just directly using the built-in functionality to customize the status line. So as you can see, the first section here is the mode that I'm in, which is insert, normal, and then there is a git branch which is seen only in git repos. So once you're in a git repo, it will show you which branch you're on currently, which you put is the second segment. The third thing is the relative path of the file that you're on right now from the project root. The next section is the file type. And in the end, you can see the percentage of file covered by the cursor and the column and row and column, sorry. You can put a lot more things on the status line. You can find out about all of them here if you type help status line. So it gives you all the fields that are available for experimenting with. So next segment here is some control P config. Mainly, it tells the plugin which directories to ignore while searching in control P. This is just mapping control plus P to running this plugin. Next, there's a bunch of config for Go. This is again boilerplate config from their repo. Some nerd tree configuration. Then there is the custom key mapping segment. So I've declared the character comma as my map leader, so it allows you to use the leader key in combination with any other character to execute functions in Vim. So when you see leader and some character here, it means that I have to hold comma and that key. So my map leader is comma. Then as you can see here, there is IMAP, NMAP, and VMAP. IMAP is key mapping for insert mode, NMAP is key mapping for normal mode, and VMAP is for visual mode. So what I've done here is I've mapped JJ to the escape key. So this works in insert mode. So let's say I'm typing something. When I hit JJ, it automatically goes to the normal mode. It's instead of reaching the escape key all the way to the corner of the keyboard. This is something similar, just that when I'm on a line and I'm typing something, I press KK, it'll go to the previous line. That's pretty much all that does. VV opens a new buffer with a vertical split. This line is really useful because I've mapped leader Y to quote star Y, which is basically telling Vim to, so Y generally means yank or copy. So what this does is it copies the contents to the star registry, which is the system clipboard. So if you want to copy things from Vim and paste it outside of Vim somewhere, then this is very useful. Otherwise, the actual way to do that would be going to insert mode, selecting, then Control C, and then removing this number, line, etc. That would be very tedious. So the easiest way is to write to the star registry. So let's say I select this and then press comma Y. You can see that here 4 lines are yanked, so I can just go somewhere and paste it. And the same thing works for pasting also. If you want to paste something from outside of Vim to Vim, this works the same way. Then there is mapping leader O to toggling the nerd tree. These key mappings work only for specific file types that are mentioned here. So these 3 will work only if the file type is Go. So when the file type is Go, if I hit leader T, it will run a particular test function. Capital T will run the entire test set, and R will run the current program. So let me show you an example of this. So let's say I want to run this particular test function, which is test get weekday. So I hit comma T and it will run that test, and you can see here the result is success. So let's say you make some kind of mistake here and run the test. It will show you that it has failed, and it will also show you what was expected and what was returned instead. And I have similar things for Ruby, Python and JavaScript. So the difference here is all these 3 things are coming from the Vim Go plugin, whereas here I'm literally executing the Ruby CLI, and in case of tests I'm executing RSpec. In the next section there is, before that there's one more here which is for ACK. So instead of running the ACK command every single time, what I've done is I've mapped comma A to run ACK on the word that I'm on right now. So let's say I'm on the word new scheduler and I want to see where all this occurs from across the project. So I'll just press Ctrl A and it will open up ACK output and it'll show me all the references. So I can pick one of them and jump to that. So this entire section here is copy pasted from the internet. This is again boilerplate COC config. I didn't even try to understand what's happening here. This just works. I didn't try to mess with it. I think this only has a bunch of key mappings and some recommended Vim config. That's it. Lastly, I have a helper function section where I have only one function so far, which is get git branch, which is called for the status line. So this just runs the git fugitive plugins fugitive head function, which gives you the branch name. So this returns the branch name so that it can be displayed on the status line here. So that's it for this video, I guess. I'm in no way an expert in Vim or anything. So if you have any suggestions as to how I can improve this further, please let me know in the comments. So I have this config file available on my GitHub with a bunch of other dot files. You can play around with it and maybe modify it for your convenience. So you can see that I have my init.vim file here, and you can use this. So I also have a bunch of other configurations which I might make a video on next. I'm considering making a tmux configuration, which is what you're seeing here, and then maybe even Alacrity someday. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.